In this demonstration, we're going to have a look at installing and configuring Forefront Protection 2010 for Exchange Server. What this will allow me to do is it will allow me to host my own antivirus and anti-spam. We'll do this on the Edge Transport server. That's the bit sitting in the DMZ, so that's the bit that we really do need to protect. Therefore, we can scan any mail coming into the organization for any malware that's been unintentionally or intentionally sent to us. So what we'll do is we'll just kick off the exe file on the DVD. That's going to go away and just extract the file. So at this point, I'll just quickly pause the video while it's extracting the files and come back. So there you go. What we've now got is we've now got our license agreement. So we'll read through that. Once we're happy with that, we'll agree to that and we'll click next. It's telling us here it's going to need to restart some services. Microsoft Edge Transport Service, so click next. We've got the program folder and we've also got the data folder, so we could change these settings if we want. Program folder is where the program files go, and then we've got the data folder for any quarantined items or any archived items, so we need somewhere to put them. So click next here. We don't have a proxy server, but this might be an ISA server sitting on the internet facing firewall. We've then got the ability to create the anti-spam configuration. We'll just enable the anti-spam later because we've got a little configuration task that we'll do in a little bit. So click next. Now what we've got is, do we want to use the Microsoft Update website for any updates? My machine doesn't connect to the internet, so all I'm going to do at this point here is say I don't want to use Microsoft Update. Again, because I'm not connected to the internet, I won't join the Customer Experience Improvement Program just yet, and click next. When we click next now, what's going to happen here? It's going to go away and it's going to do the install. It's not a very exciting thing to watch. It's a blue bar moving across the screen. So I'll pause the video at this point here and return back once the installation's finished. Okay, this is finished now, so click the finish button. So we've now installed Forefront Security Server. We'll just close down the DVD screen. Start our programs here, and what we're going to do is just come into our Microsoft Forefront Server Protection. And what we're going to do is just kick off the console down here. So we'll click on the console. There we go, console's up and running. Now we're in the engine now, so what we've done here is we've come into policy management. We're having a look at the anti-malware and we have our Edge Transport server. So we're enabling the transport antivirus scan. We've enabled the transport anti-spyware scan as well, coming through the Edge Transport server. We can scan with all of the virus engines that we've installed. We can scan with a subset of engines, and what we're going to do, just for purpose of this demonstration, we're just going to scan with a dynamically chosen subset of engines. So don't scan with everything, just have a look at all of the antivirus that we've got installed here and run through that. We can see here under detection, action is clean all the viruses, quarantine the files, yes. Spyware, we need to delete the items and quarantine the files, yes. As it says here, if we do select the delete action, the file content is replaced with the deletion text, and what we could do here is edit the text to say this email has been deleted due to infection by spyware, malware, whatever you want to put inside there. We can also scan docs, files as containers, we can purge if the message body is deleted, and we can optimize for performance by not rescanning messages already virus scanned, so we'll leave that one turned on. Suppressing malware notifications does exactly what it says it does, just suppresses these notifications. We've then got various other things that we can set up here as well, so maximum container scan settings, what to do with their MIME header actions, and so on down the list here in the case of what we want to do with the emails themselves. Once we've done all of this, the next thing we need to do is just save it all off. So we'll click on the save button. That's going to save all of my settings. So that's all done. The next thing we're going to do here is we're just going to have a look at the anti-spam settings. So we said we will configure this later. So we click on anti-spam. Next thing we click on is configure. This is going to take a little while just for it to come up, and what we're going to do here is we're just going to enable the anti-spam filtering. It's going to tell us that we do need to restart some services, so yes, we're quite happy to do that. Within the anti-spam settings then, we've got enable connection filtering. What this allows us to do is filters messages based off the IP address of remote servers, and this allows us to filter anything coming in through IP block lists and also allow through anything from IP allow lists. We've then further down here as well, we've got various other types of blocking in place here as well. We've got the sender ID filter, so this filters messages by verifying the IP address of the sending SMTP server against the purported owner of the sending domain. We've got the sender filter sitting down here as well, so this filters messages based off the sender and the mail from SMTP. Scroll it down a little bit further. We've got the recipient filter, so the reverse of the sender filter. So the recipient filter allows us to filter messages based on recipients in the recipient to SMTP filter. Scrolling down a bit further, we've got the bad scatter filtering. So as it says here, this must be restarted in order for this thing to take effect. So yet another type of attack. And scrolling down a bit further, we've got the content filter. So the content filter just filters based off content settings that we have in place. So filter for certain words that we don't want to allow through. And then right down towards the bottom here, we have our spam confidence level. So these thresholds and actions. If we have SCL set to 0, chances are it's not spam. Anything up to 9 in varying degrees means it's more likely to actually be spam. So if we click on the little drop down here, we can set this to none for suspect spam. We can set it to 5, so 5 and above gets quarantined. 5 to 6 gets quarantined, 5 to 7, 5 to 8, 5 to 9. Ideally, we don't want to set this thing too low, but we also don't want to set it too high. So we don't want to block valid emails, but we don't want to disallow things that potentially could be a valid email. So all we'll do for purposes of this demonstration, we're just going to set this for 5 to 7. Now that we've done all of that, we click our Save button. That goes away and saves all of the anti-spam settings on our forefront server. So it's now saved it all off. The next thing we're going to do here is just go to our monitoring tab because we want to have a look at things coming through the server itself. So on the monitoring tab here, what we're going to have a look at is we're going to have a look at any malware details. So have a look at anything that's come through. Currently nothing. Spam details, so it hasn't blocked any spam coming through here. Filtering details, nothing in there. Any incidents, well, there's nothing in here either because really this thing isn't connected to the internet. We could have a look at the quarantine to see which message has been quarantined. We can then decide what to do with the quarantine. We've got the notifications tab. So under the notifications tab here, we can enable notifications for certain events. Also incident options as well. So we can automatically purge incidents after, let's say, 60 days. So by that time we should have got things sorted. And we can specify the size of our incident database as well. We've then got our quarantine options. So we'll just save off those settings there. And the quarantine options are going to give us information about any quarantined events. So what we want to do here is we also want to purge out quarantined after 60 days and rescan any filters on send. So we click save at this point here. That's going to save off all of the monitoring information as well. So now what we've set up here is we've set up antivirus, anti-spam. We've installed the various antivirus engines. Like I said, for purposes of this demo, we're not connecting the internet, but we'll be monitoring this thing on a regular basis just to ensure that we don't have any naughty emails coming through the system. So that's the end of this demonstration.